What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Sports with Warbs. Today, we are going to be talking about the crazy week in the world of hockey we got coming up. There's a lot of stuff going on in terms of hockey in Ncaa, the NHL. I just got to talk about the Canadian division. It's been a while since I've been able to. We're over halfway through the season at this point. I got some thoughts. It's a big week in the division. Things are kind of getting split up. There's the teams at the bottom who aren't really in the playoffs, but also are still fighting, like Vancouver. The Oilers, after the horrible sweep that Toronto gave us, my last video on the channel was me raging about it. There's been some good news for the Oilers. I mean, we've kind of taken care of some of those problems we were having. I'm feeling a lot more hopeful going into this weekend against the Leafs. We still got to play Montreal before we get there. Yeah, the Leafs and the Oilers are sitting atop the North Division at 42 points apiece. The Oilers do have 2 games in hand, so you always got to kind of take that into consideration. But they've been having good, consistent play since that Leafs series. I mean, behind McDavid and Draisaitl, they've been able to put them together a little bit more. Nuge, I'm not sure about him centering his own line as the second line, but Puljujarvi stepping up. Obviously, Barrie and Nurse basically playing as like a fourth forward and having some of the best like plus minuses for Nurse there is great, and it's been huge. But I don't want to focus too much on the Oilers. I can move on. The Leafs have been having their annual midseason collapse. Leafs fans, I know some of you are here, so we're going to tell you that, but it does happen. Yeah, it seemed like Anderson was getting a lot of the brunt for what was happening early. I saw Hot Take Hockey. He gave a nice little rant video on it, and now you guys got Campbell, who's seems to be playing a little better. I watched the game the other day against Calgary. You guys got the shutout there. And I know the Leafs will get out of this slump. It just happens. They got off to a really hot start. I wasn't sure if it would actually even happen this year because they do look like a good team. They need to start winning again. That's what needs to happen. Moving on, we got Montreal. This week is huge. Like I was saying, as the Oilers played Montreal in a 3-game series. This is the team we've played the least amount, so we don't know as much about them. They have a chance to win some big games. If they can win some big games against the Oilers, who are kind of in the top 2 teams, they're going to be still making up ground and on those lower teams that like they're not even giving a chance to the teams out of the playoffs to win against them, which is good for them. You don't want them getting any type of points. And so they're kind of trying to fight off Vancouver. They do have a bunch of games in hand, so it isn't too scary just yet, but this week is huge. Montreal is missing Toffoli, but you know what? The way they're going to beat the Oilers is the way they beat them the first 2 times, using their defense. They do have some of the best defense in the North Division. I know it's been getting a lot of shit, the North Division, because of how bad the defense has been. But I still think Montreal is going to be able to possibly pull off some wins using that defense against the Oilers. They're going to need to shut down the top 2, obviously. The Jets are going to be looking to keep the Canucks out of the playoffs. I mean, Montreal has a few games in hand on them, but in terms of points, they're right behind them, and they're going to have to keep fighting them off this weekend. This is a huge week for the North Division. Like I keep saying, there's going to be a lot of games to watch, and a lot of shifting of the tides could potentially happen by next Monday. Something that also happened this past weekend was the bracket making for the NCAA hockey championships. The women's championships just wrapped up, and now we're moving on to the men's. The action kicks off next weekend. This is the first time ever that all 5 Division I Minnesota schools have actually made it in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I'm going to be cheering for Quinnipiac. I have a guy I grew up with on the team, Peter Deliberatory. He's one of the assistant captains. I've been watching them all year. They have a really good team. They have 2 Hobie Baker finalists, and I'm hoping they'll be able to go far. They play on the 27th, I believe, so I'll definitely be watching that game. So to end off these episodes, I give you a player that's been struggling, I think is going to pick it up. And today, as much as I hate to say it, it's got to be Austin Matthews. He's gone on a bit of a cold streak. I mean, 0 goals in the last 4 games. I realized he was injured. That obviously doesn't help. He kind of let McDavid catch up. It's tied now, 21 goals apiece at the top of the league. I think it's just a matter of time before he kind of gets his scoring touch back. 1 point in his last 4 games isn't going to cut it. But last time we said Zibanejad, and he's definitely turned it around a little bit for the Rangers. So we will see. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Love being back. More videos up this week. Tons of stuff coming. Thanks.